All right, welcome everybody. We are here on the Pickleball broadcast, and we have Stacy Zelinski and Julian Arnold. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Uh, so I wanted to share. So my perspective is, so we all live in the same area, and so it's my pleasure. I get to see you guys out on the court sometimes. I get to take lessons sometimes or take clinics, with Julian. But you guys are on a whole different level. Everyone really admires you. You are the best players in our area, and your trajectory is taking you into the higher level amateur tournaments, and then getting your feet wet, as you said, in the pro tour as well. So it's very interesting for us to see what's happening with you. And so we'd love to hear about your experiences and what's that like. I know that both of you have a different background coming into the sport. So if you could just touch on that briefly, just to get our viewers acclimated, to who you are and where you've been and your process. And let's start with you, Stacy.
Hello, I'm Stacy Zelinski, and I have been playing pickleball for about 4 years and playing competitive pickleball for about 2. My journey starts with showing up at Morro Bay to what I thought was a hockey rink. And lo and behold, to me, in the meantime of moving, it turned into a pickleball courts, 4 of them. And so my background is in hockey, and I was a little disgruntled. So I figured, well, I might as well see what pickleball is about. And my journey started with a very simple, hey, here's how you play pickleball. And I like competitive sports, and I thought, well, I could probably do this. But I was told, because I don't have any paddle background, it's going to be a while before I'm actually competitive. Well, that stirred a fire, and that started my journey.
Yeah. Which is interesting with pickleball because you do have a lot of other sports coming into the sport and bringing with the different, I think, physical techniques. But your training has been very rigorous, would you say? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be at the courts kind of learning my way. And an older gentleman, Skip Sorge, kind of was watching me, play and had the heart. And he asked if I wanted to drill and kind of learn the game and just grow as a player. So I took him up on his offer, and I try to drill more often than playing. And I hit, 4, 5, 6 to 700 balls, in a drilling session compared to just a few balls in a game. So I've really stepped up, just trying to get myself into pickleball ready to compete at a higher level.
Yeah. Okay, so you come from a background really of no racket sports, but hockey, but being athletic and competitive.
I love it.
Love, yeah, yeah. And then Julian, I did my previous interview with you, but if you could refresh everybody about your extensive background with racket sports.
Yeah. So I've been playing competitive tennis for probably a little over 20 years or close to that. And then I've been also teaching for about 8 or 9 now. So yeah, I've spent most of my life with a racket in my hand. So gravitating over towards pickleball was pretty natural for me. I commend Stacy for all the work that she's put in, because it's not easy coming from no background at all. It's a very technical sport. Even pickleball, there's a lot of touch. So it's something that you have to work hard at, and she's doing it the best way possible by taking yourself out of competitive play a little bit and drilling, right? Getting as many reps as possible. The game's all about repetition. So
yeah, I wanted to ask you about some of your prep for this upcoming tournament, and I have another question for Stacy as well. But Julian, and I just happened to hear about this, but you had a very accomplished pro invite you to come and play singles. So can you tell us who that was and how did it go?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to get to play some practice sets with Catherine Parento. She was in the area doing a couple clinics, I believe, in Paso. And yeah, somehow, I've just been networking a lot before this tournament and getting to know a lot more pickleball people in the area. And they ended up giving me a call and asking if I could come out real fast and practice with her for a little bit. So,
Okay, wait. Okay, I don't mean to be rude to ask you this, but were you at all nervous at all?
yeah, to be honest, the nerves are something that is a little bit new for me in regards to playing racket sports. I think just, when you're a youngster, yes, you put a lot of pressure on yourself, but it's in a slightly different way. And it's much more emotional rather than feeling nervous. So I think growing up playing competitive tennis, it trains you how to deal with that. And then, ever since I've started coaching, I've kind of removed myself from competitive tennis. So, not being in that element for such a long time, and then now throwing myself into more competitive play and expecting results from myself,
Yeah.
it does put that pressure on, and those
Okay,
nerves do come into play for sure.
Julian, how did you do? Like, what was your just this? How did you do with the matches against Catherine?
Not great. So I still hadn't played that many singles sets. So to me, I felt like I was hitting the ball okay, but just once again missing a few too many shots and maybe not giving myself enough opportunity to actually play. So we talk about the importance of the third shot drop and giving yourself opportunities to score points. And if you're constantly going for passing shots or just being a little too cute with dinking the ball and not getting into the kitchen, then you're missing out on opportunities, and those are just easy points for your opponent. So she's a professional, and she's extremely well groomed and is very sharp. And against a player like that, you really can't afford to give up any free points and lose any opportunities for yourself. It was very similar situation with my match against Deckelbar, to be honest. Nerves, and then same thing, just not getting enough action, not playing enough points and making him actually beat me. So with her, she's an amazing player. I'd love to play her again and give it another go. I definitely feel like I have a lot more experience after playing 5 matches in the PPA event. So
it's just gonna keep going. And you know what? I wasn't gonna bring this up in the interview, but you mentioned it to me personally in Morro Bay the other day about one of your early pro matches, and then who you were paired up against, like right out of the gate. And can you tell us, Stacy, about that?
Are you talking about when we first played, or just my first pro event?
No, your first pro event. Your first pro event. Yeah.
So my doubles partner canceled, so I picked up a blind date, which was kind of fun. The girl was great, very energetic. In our first draw, we pulled Kelly Smith and Catherine Prince. So talking about nerves, if I could go back and play that game again, I would play a little different. I was pretty much in awe, like I'm on the court. I can tell you we scored some points. We did not win the match by any means, but for me to be on the court with those two, what an amazing treat and a welcoming to, hey, here's what it's like. I mean, just facing the top pros, Simone and Lucy and whatnot. But it was amazing feeling. Like I look back and just, like I think Julian said, sometimes you reflect on your game and you're like, okay, I could have done it different. There's still 2 very, very talented players, but you're still hitting the same ball. So it comes down to just unforced errors and playing the game. And it was
Yeah.
what a treat. I mean, I won't forget that. I won't forget that feeling of stepping on to the court with those two.
Yeah. How exciting. Well, I want to
Very,
get into, yeah. You guys now recently participated. Tell me the name of the tournament that you were in.
PPA Orange
PPA,
County Cup.
Yeah.
the Orange
Okay.
County Cup. Yeah.
Okay. And so, what was your thoughts going in? What are your strengths as a duo? What was going to be your approach? I'd like to hear about that. I'd like to hear about your first match and how it went, and just kind of do a deep dive into your mixed partnership, how that works, what were the strengths, what were your learnings. I just would love to hear that from your perspective.
You want to
Julian,
start,
do you want to
Stacy?
start?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'll start.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah, I was, I met Julian not too long ago, and we've been having the opportunity to play on the court, and we talked about playing the game. And what I really appreciate with Julian's background is just so rich and entailed of fine details and just court positioning. And those are things that, as a player who's never played tennis or a paddle sport, I didn't come with those naturally. So I'm still learning. And so even words or technicalities he uses, I ask him to, hey, fine tune that. But my job as a mixed partner is to set Julian up. And so we did have conversation of how I can get him very involved in the match and very involved player so that he could play his style, which is very dynamic and very direct and aggressive, which is great. And so because I knew his style, I was able to get him into that position so that he could play the tee and put it away or come across. And I had the confidence because I have a great partner coming.
Okay.
Yeah, just to add to that. I think the thing that I love about Stacy is that she comes with a wealth of experience out there. So she's great at keeping her emotions in check. She's a very positive partner, and I know that I have someone that is very reliable when it comes to actually playing the game as well. She's extremely skilled. So and at the same time, willing to play the strategy or the style that's necessary to win at that level. I think you see at the rec level, it's not easy to necessarily be the player who's isolated and be willing to sacrifice so much of the court to your partner. Most of the time you get that smirk or that look and the comment of like, cover your side. Why are you so far over on my side? Well, if the ball's only going to go over there, let's give him less space. So, now we're starting to think of it as a team effort rather than thinking as two individuals on the court. And that's when you start to see your play really elevate. And that's obviously more difficult at the rec level compared to, me and Stacy, who are preparing for an event and knowing that we're going to be playing together. So when you're constantly changing partners around at the park, right, it's a little bit more difficult, but it's still something that you should try to keep in mind. And you do end up playing with these people on a consistent basis. So you learn to play with them and you learn to adapt to different strengths and weaknesses. So,
Well, okay, so let's say we're at the tournament now, and you've got your first match, and so let's talk about that first match. You see your partners. I'm sorry, not your partners, your opponents. What were you thinking when you saw them and learned who they were? And then tell me, how did the match go? Were they targeting you, Stacy? I'm wondering. And then were any surprises? What were your learnings in that first match?
You want to start ahead, Stacy? Okay, go
So
ahead.
you start this one because you have.
Okay. All right. So I had a little prior experience watching the female player that we were going up against in the first round. She was playing in the pro event singles on Thursday. So I watched her play actually against Catherine Parento, and she split sets, I believe. I think she won a game. So she was a very impressive player. When I first saw the team and saw that she was on it, I knew we were in for a tough match. I knew that we were going to have to work really hard, and it wasn't going to be an easy first round. So, things went great though. We played rock solid. We played our game plan. I didn't feel like Stacy got targeted at all. Really, I felt like they played a really fun, competitive game, and it was a really enjoyable match to be a part of. To be honest, a great one to kind of break the ice and break the nerves, and it was great to get a win under our belt right away. So,
Okay. You know what? I did not. I wanted to wait and to find out what happened with you guys during our interview. So I don't even know really what your outcome was. So you guys won.
yeah.
And great, great. Were there any worries? Did you have to take a timeout and just say, "Oh, wait, we got to do this"? Or how did you adjust your game as you went along? Like, what happened that?
I'm trying to remember exactly. I feel like we won the first set, and then we lost the second, and then we ended up winning it in the third.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what? So you okay? So won the first one.
If I remember correctly, I think there was a little wind in the morning, and I did feel like one side had a little bit of an advantage. But I think really the two games that we won, we ended up getting off to a really strong start, and I think that's always important to get that early lead. So to not give away those free points, right? If you can jump up on a team and get a 3-4 point advantage, and then just make sure that you're really playing rock solid, which was pretty much our game plan. I think Stacy kind of was talking about it, but we wanted to basically try to get the ball into the kitchen and allow me to try to move forward and look for any poach opportunities. That was probably our best chance at winning easy points, and that really went well for us for the first two games, or for the first two matches. And then I ran into some physical complications, unfortunately. But
okay. So you're saying you won the first match 2 out of 3. You won the second match.
I believe we won the second one. Was it 2 out of 3 as well? Or
yeah, so we went 2 out of 3 on both of them.
I think all day really one side had a strong advantage. With the wind. Not that it was like super windy, but it still makes a little bit of a difference.
Okay, here's what I want to know, and Stacy, I'll address this one to you. Is you won 2 matches. It is not an accident that you won 2 matches. I want the insider information. Why did you win? What did you do? What was happening that contributed to that? I know there's many factors, but why did you win?
I really think going out, we had great conversation, and I really feel playing together as a partnership with Julian, for me, I felt very confident and comfortable. It's probably one of, I played with enough different partners. You don't always feel this calm and ready to play. And stepping out, I actually felt very calm and confident in our partnership and the conversation that we had of our kind of our jobs and our duties, and our movement together, I think flows well. And again, I think we stuck to the plan. Our goal was to, in a mix, especially at 5-0, I'm learning that not the time you just kind of play rec ball and step out and go, oh, I'm playing 5-0. There's definitely a plan. There's conversation, and you have to work not as two individuals, but as a partnership. And I really felt very confident, even though it was our first tournament together. I felt very confident as a partnership to get the job done. When I had some moments where Julian was super encouraging, like, hey, you got this, great hands. He was very positive as a partnership. And I felt our energy went well together. He talked about coming up short a little bit with the pulled glute muscle. And we could feel the energy just change a little bit. So I think our advantage is the energy that we had in moving on the court together was a great flow. And when he had to work through his injury, it just changed a little dynamics. But still, he played amazing, and we played well, and we didn't get blown out. It wasn't like it was just a shortcoming of a few points. And so I think the biggest is feeling comfortable playing with your partner as a partnership than just two individuals.
Yeah. That's wonderful that you guys were able to achieve that feeling, especially as you are newer partners. But it sounds like positive encouragement. It sounds like good communication, having a plan going into it, so you're not, everywhere. But I like to talk about these things and break them down because I know people like to learn from you guys. And learning the components of what makes a successful partnership is something that really we should all strive for. Okay, so I did not know. So that is awful. Did you tear your glute?
No. It's nothing like that bad. Really what happened is it happened in the singles on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
So I had 5 tough matches over the course of I don't know how many hours. And then I ended up sticking around and watching a little bit. I really probably should have been, maybe taking care of the body and icing a little bit instead of just sitting there and just letting everything get cold. And then I ended up driving home, and I have a stick shift. I have a stick shift vehicle, so driving in an hour and a half of traffic, constantly going with my left leg up and down.
Yeah.
So I think I just overworked it, and then that combination of doing all that afterwards was enough to pretty much throw me out of commission for a couple days. And then it was starting to feel better, and I was about 100%, I'd say, going into the tournament. But I kind of knew already it could be an issue.
Yeah.
And,
so you drove down to the tournament, came back home, and then went back down for the
and then I went back down. Yeah, we went back down together. Yeah, just because I could have stayed there. I had a place to stay with a friend. He lives in Dana Point. It happened to be 10 minutes away from the site, so it was really convenient. But I wanted to come back home, and I had some lessons to teach, so it all worked out. I don't mind driving, to be honest. So
yeah. So okay, so we could talk about physical health and how you take care of yourself, but let's finish our story. So now we get to the third match. I'm assuming you guys lost that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hinted at that, but
yeah. So
what happened, and what's your learning? So, why did they win, and how are you gonna get them next time?
And
Stacey,
why don't you
we're at 12:17, by the way.
Yeah.
We're gonna just wrap it up with this, and then I've got one more thing to bring up. And okay. So tell us about the last match. What went well? How do we win next time?
Match.
Or the next one.
Match.
No, not the last one. Do
the match that
the third match.
The third match.
Yeah.
Okay. So third match, we came into it pretty strong, and Julian had been working with some massage and Medici leaf for some ointment and stuff, and he was feeling pretty good. The wind was a little bit different that game, and I think we played against some great players, young players. It was probably the youngest players I've played against, and even Julian, we kind of had conversation. They were a solid players, but we started off a bit slow. That was our conversation. Had we changed coming into the game and shooting right out of the gate like we had been in the first two matches, I think the
Yeah.
game could have changed. We played a little defensive for a bit, just trying to get back into it, and we just came up a little short. It was a good, solid game.
Yeah.
I think that we lost the second game by 2.
Oh.
And we battled back. So it was just kind of, we just were falling a little bit short, and it wasn't necessarily a horrible game. We had a lot of long points. We had a lot of fast points. We did things that we normally do. We just came up short, and losing is never fun. But what I learned from it is, everybody has a great game, and everybody has a game of being defensive or trying to just stay in it. And I think we just came up a little short on our offensive game.
Interesting. Do you think that when you saw who they were, because you said they were younger, did you kind of go into it with the idea that, going to start off a little more defensive and tampering down your offense because of that, or
no?
I don't think so. I think it.
No. Go ahead. I was gonna say I don't think it was a strategy. It wasn't strategy purposes that we were slowing things down. I think it was more circumstantial. So Stacy alluded to me being up at the tent and getting worked on by the trainers and stuff. And if I remember correctly, I think I had to kind of scramble to get back down to the court. Stacy was already down there waiting for me. So for me, coming from tennis, it's very different with the scheduling where you have, if you have an 8 o'clock match, it's at 8 o'clock, and then you have a couple hours and your next round is at 11:30.
right.
It's way more scheduled than, hey, wait around for this text message and then show up to a court and now it's time to play. So that took a little bit of time to get used to. I guess I really never did, and it's not really one of my favorite parts of how they run the tournament. But I guess I understand because I'm trying to get a lot of matches in. But anyway, I just kind of scrambled there, and we weren't really ready to start, I feel like, and that's where it was just kind of slow. I wasn't.
Yeah, I agree.
We weren't in the right energy, so.
Yeah.
Took me a game to get going, and even with I was obviously not moving as well as I could be, and even with that slow start, the second game we were able to really put together a strong effort. And I think if we had played like that from the get-go, we would have put a lot more pressure on these younger players, and it would have been a little bit more nerve-wracking in that second game. And really, we had it. It was on our serve, and I missed a serve that I really should have just put in play, and we probably could have taken it right there. But we live and we learn. So.
Wait, now, did you get to play one more match though? You had one more after that.
We did. We had another one after that, and to be honest, by then the body was not feeling great. Constantly starting and stopping, and getting just a little bit of time to get the masseuses to work on me for a little bit. But it was. At that point, a little bit of mental and physical fatigue. I thought that was a team that they ended up winning the gold medal, I believe. But to be honest, I thought the team that we lost to in the previous match was better. And if I was 100%, I don't think that's a team that we ever lose to. So that's just my personal thought.
So, guys, are you guys done playing together, or do you have more tournaments in store?
No, I'd love to continue to play with Stacy, and I'm just gonna play as much as possible. So as much as I can afford to get out there and play, I'm gonna try to do it. So it was a wonderful experience. the whole tournament, more than just playing. Getting to meet and talk to a lot of different professionals and continuing to network and kind of sharing my story with some of these people and just letting them know that hey, I'm someone that maybe you should be looking for, because I'm trying to compete, so I'm coming into the sport. And here I am.
Look at what you did. Look at what you did on your first one. Like, wow.
Yeah, I think it went all right.
Well, Julian,
to be honest, I think the doubles went great. I think my singles could have gone a little better, but first tournament, so there's a lot ahead of me.
well, I want to say thank you, and I'm looking forward to playing with Julian. I'm going to sign him up for as many tournaments as I can. It's a great start for us. I know at some point, he'll be moving on. Probably a younger player would be a benefit to him, but I just it's a great experience, and I think I can learn a lot. I do have some just experience in the pickleball, and he's got the experience of a lot of the other fine details, which is pretty amazing. But I like to say I'm encouraged and I'm excited for him playing singles, and I look definitely forward to playing in more tournaments. Yeah.
Yeah. And we everyone watching this just appreciates you sharing this journey, and we are going to be watching you. And I really would like to set up regular interviews and just see how it's progressing. And it's just really exciting what you're doing, and just to share in it and to understand it is really lovely. I know that Stacy did start her own website, and so here it is. So stacydowntheline.com. And you have one sponsor. Who is that, Stacy? You say Medici Lee?
Yeah, I'm working with Medici Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a CBD oil company, and that's also on
there we go.
on my website. Yeah, and they've been a great support.
And we talked about it because
there we are. And that worked really well.
Yeah.
It's definitely been helping the glute out a little bit. So
yeah. All right.
I use it on my knees, to be honest. My knees get a little sore and it works. So
yeah.
I've never used anything like it, but yeah, it works.
Love it. And then also, anyway, so his name's A Surrender, and he wrote this article about new pros and what it's like going on the tour. Because really, at the amateur level, and maybe, I'm not sure about the pros, but even those courses are not huge. So to get athletes like yourself to get out there and compete, it's expensive and it's a process. And that's an issue I think a lot of people, deal with. So I know you guys are advocates of the hosted housing, and so I know you're going to be, spreading the word about Pickleball hosted housing. And really, it would just make me so happy that wherever you're going, there are people who would love to have you and open up their homes to you, and you would just have a nice warm bed at night. You'd have, it just would be. So that's part of my goal in having Pickleball hosted housing is to support referees who don't make anything, who have to go to the tournaments, people like you who are traveling, just to save money on lodging. So I appreciate your willingness to help, promote Pickleball hosted housing, so we can just keep growing this sport and just make it really good for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
of course.
You guys congratulations.
Yeah, thanks so much. I definitely love to do an interview whenever you want. So just let me know and we can schedule something. Yeah.
You tell me. Maybe we'll do another one in a month and then pick up and see how things are going. And,
yeah, sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have a happy 4th. And
I would love that. That'd be great.
Okay. Thank you, again.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.